Good afternoon. My name is Shyheim Cooper. I'll be doing my speech on why voting should not be required by law. This coming year is an election year for the presidency as well as other positions of power. So my question to you is, do you plan on voting this year, or have you voted in the past? Despite what people may think, that voting should be required, should be forced upon everyone, required to vote by law. This may sound good, but I feel as if that won't really solve the problems that we see with the elected officials that we have. I myself have been voting since I have been eligible to vote. I also have been part of organizations who help people get their early voting, help them get informed about candidates in their area. This coming election, with it being a presidency election, I feel like it's an important one because it can help us make some changes that can help us long term. Social science has shown that higher turnouts to the poll come from the quality of the candidates, not forcing people to go out and vote. So there are some places who do force voting, like Australia or Latin America. Voting is required by law, so everyone has to vote. But you see there that it doesn't always turn out in the quality of the candidate. You see things like impeachment, or people just being fed up with the person that they elected because they don't meet the promises or keep the words that got them selected in the first place, which is why I think voting is also so important, and why learning and being informed of who you're voting for is very, very important. Voting has a direct impact on the area you live in. It affects the businesses, the laws. It affects your direct lifestyle. Things like the school board, that's important. It affects your children and kind of the day-to-day things that you have going on. And most people think that voting is a kind of a split. It's a little more leaning towards people who do vote than don't. It's about 60-40. 60 being people who do actually go out and vote, and the 40 people who usually don't vote. So this is why I think informing the voters is so very important, because someone who's uneducated voting and just saying the name is a dangerous vote, or someone who is easily influenced and just voting because that they know someone else is voting for that person, it shows up and it can have an effect on the outcome of the election. So personally, things like choosing a candidate based on the needs that you have, based on your area or problems that you see, will be a way to look at the election and keep paying attention. Sometimes we fall in love with the first person we see, and we don't really follow up with their policies and their intention to do with the position that they could get appointed to. And I feel like more candidates should kind of press more information to get that information out there. Some candidates you don't really hear about until you get to the polls, or you'll find a person, you'll ask them who they're voting for a certain position, and they might not even know the name of someone who's running. So that's not the type of person you want just going, checking the box, checking the name, and putting someone who they couldn't even pick out of a lineup to be in a position that affects what you do in your life or affects your day-to-day life. A very uninformed vote is dangerous. I know it's a right that we all have, but also it's gun laws, and you don't want we don't want everyone carrying around a gun. That's a dangerous situation. So I feel like if things kind of go in the direction that they're going in, then we won't see as much changes as we were looking for. We'll kind of find ourselves back into the same situations that we're in. So the most important thing is informing the voters, so we won't have situations like we're in, like Donald Trump trying to impeach him, things like that, having the country tear between itself. So I feel like we should all encourage citizens to go vote, but not make them vote. We should encourage them to educate themselves on the candidates and issues that they have, so that going in to vote, they know the things that they want to see changed, and they're going in with a motive, not because they have to. No one likes to do anything the right way. You have to do it. And that concludes my speech. Thank you for your time.